Friends, welcome back. It is officially the first day of fall, which means I do not need to hold off any longer. We are coming in today with a full front porch makeover. So we're going to redo the pots. We're going to bring in some decor items. And as I go through the process, I'm going to share my personal tips for how I create a welcoming home entry with a lot of lovely organic elements. I am very excited. So let's jump in. So tip number one is pick a color story that resonates with you. This is not about what Pinterest says you need to have or your friends or your neighbors. This is you. How do you spell the season? What appeals to your sensibility? Having that right at the front door sets the stage for literally the family that lives inside. So embrace your own color story and just go for it. If I were on a budget, this might be where I stop. My snapdragons are going to bloom for quite a bit longer. My euphorbia is going to keep going a little bit longer. My sedum angelina, my fern is just coming into fruition here. And so what I might do if I was on a budget is I might just yank the lobelia and pop in a pansy or a viola right here. And then to offer some fullness on this side, I might just put in a cabbage or a kale. Again, keeping it really simple. If you're on a budget, you don't need to change out everything, just a few little elements, and boom, you've transitioned. Tip number two, texture is king. So think about fall, right? We are thinking sweaters, denim, flannel. We want to echo those textures in our front porch, in our welcoming area. So how this translates is things like moss, textured pumpkins and squash. Also, watch as I go through and I plant out this front container. You're going to notice that I am varying my texture when it comes to all of my plants. So fuzzy leaves, glossy cabbage, so on and so forth. You know, I think I'm going to actually leave this helichrysum. It's really beautiful. It's offering some nice fullness. I think I'm going to leave it for now. My next tip number three, is to take a cue from Mother Nature and what is happening in the world around us as we enter into this season. So to give you some concrete examples, let's take a look at fall. Traditionally, this is a time of harvest, right? So let's think about things that we're harvesting. We are harvesting a lot of squashes, pumpkins. Maybe we're harvesting the last of our corns. We have leftover corn stalks. Maybe we have wheat fields that are drying down. Those are being bundled. And of course, we have also cool season crops that are coming on. So think cabbage, kale, Swiss chard. These are all beautiful elements that really help welcome in the season. And I do have to think that, like, biologically somewhere in there, we have a memory that is being triggered of what this time of year means. It is going inward. It is preparing for winter. It is all those things that are cozy and lovely and really welcome us home to what this season is about. Friends, my next tip for a welcoming front entry is to create layers. So layers help create depth and dimension, and they invite you into a space. So for example, within this container, I am creating an additional layer using this moss. Not only does it actually highlight all of the foliage and the flowers that I've planted, but it allows me to bring in another layer this little Squidmo squash. It's actually this little bed of moss that allows me to position it facing upright and forward. As I bring in all of the other decor elements, you're going to see I'm repeating my layering again. So not only am I going to be placing these corn stalks back in that corner to provide a layer in back of the container, but then I also have a whole bevy of pumpkins coming in front. Again, layers are king. Friends, my final tip for a super friendly, welcoming front entry is to look around your home and repurpose what you already have. In this particular front porch, what you're going to notice is these cute little black lanterns. Well, my friends, these are not new. These, if you remember, are actually the lanterns from my back patio. They have simply been given new life to this front entry. And as this setup progresses, you're going to notice I'm adding an additional layer. I'm bringing in more of that preserved moss, and I am literally creating this beautiful, intentional fall organic look, reusing what I already have. There's like this beautiful comfort and nostalgia that is created when you reuse the same elements, or maybe you bring out the same decor every year. And I know for me and my little boys, well, that aren't really so little anymore, there is a nostalgia that comes with bringing out the Halloween decorations, bringing out the same Christmas decorations, because all of those memories are imbued in those little pieces that they have seen throughout the years. So don't be afraid to repurpose what you have and breathe a new little life into it. And just to drive home one more time how all of these elements play together, number one, that container and the sedum in it are both things I already had. Number two, I needed a higher container, but I didn't want to purchase new. So I'm simply setting it atop, a offcut of a brick that I used when constructing our raised beds. And then last but not least, I'm literally making everything that I already had feel fresh, seasonal, and relevant by adding natural elements. And this cotton wreath, this is actually the same one that has been gracing our front doors that I bring out year after year for the past 6 years. It just has a fresh bow. Friends, I believe we have achieved peak fall. I am so thrilled with how this came out. And this may not be your typical like red, orange, yellow fall situation, but this is fall to me. And so if I can encourage you to do one thing today, I want you to get out there. I want you to figure out what your fall song is and then just sing it. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to see you in the next one. And in the meantime, as always, please say hello to your garden for me.